Postgame Live, Maddy Glab alongside Bills legend Steve Tasker. We are brought to you by Wesley, Clark, and Peshkin, your diverse and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. And the Buffalo Bills lose this one, a heartbreaking loss to the Miami Dolphins with a final score of 21-19. It literally came down to the final second, and the Bills just ran out of gas. I mean, they're on their own 47-yard line, down 2 points with 18 seconds to go. Isaiah McKenzie picks up 12 yards. They're running back to the line of scrimmage. They don't get the play off in time. Time runs out, and the whistle blows. That's a heartbreaking loss for this team. It took just about everybody. So many injuries going into this one. So many injuries throughout the game. A huge group effort. Yes, some questionable decisions there, but they're going to learn from this, and they're going to get better from this. Steve, in a game that had so many ups and downs, what stood out to you most in this tough loss?
It's rare that you see a team have a dominating loss, which is what the Bills did. 40 minutes and 40 seconds of time of possession. Miami had 19 minutes and 20 seconds of possession of the ball. 90 plays of offense for the Bills, 39 for the Dolphins. And really without, the fumble down in their end of the sack strip fumble that gave Miami a chance to get on the board early. This and one or two other plays, this game doesn't seem like it'll be close. Matt Milano dropped a pick six that was right in his face mask. And other things like that happened as well. Now, certainly you can say that about every game, but the Bills got to walk away with this. Really, it looked at the end. The Bills absolutely exhausted themselves using Miami's defense as a punching bag. They just couldn't get it in the end zone.
Pick up a safety, the luck is on their side, and unfortunately couldn't get it done. It's games like this that you might go back to later in the season, and this could be a defining moment either way for the Buffalo Bills, for the good or for the bad. This one could stick out in their schedule. But Josh Allen is on the podium after today's loss. Let's hear from the quarterback on this tough one.
That's, I didn't get the snap before halftime, and I bobbled it, couldn't snap it or couldn't spike it. We would have gotten a loss of down, so I tried to spit one out there and get it out there, but just didn't play good situational football tonight. Our defense played very well. Special teams had a really good day, but offensive side of the ball, we didn't take care of business, and it starts with me.
Josh, on this fumble that they called on you, I thought your arm was going forward. What was the explanation?
I don't know. I was kind of surprised they didn't look at it, at least. I never really saw a replay, so I have no clue.
What about the job you're next? It's nice they really help you keep drives alive, both running and catching.
Yeah, they're ready for their number's been called. I think we threw it a lot of times tonight. So our guys did a good job in pass protection, and we got to finish drives. I think third down we were all right. Red zone we weren't very good. We got to find a way to get it in the end zone there, and we really beat ourselves tonight. Credit to them. They had a really good game plan. They came out and they did what they had to do. But there's obviously plays that we went back, and that's going to happen over the course of every single game, this one especially.
They wanted to just kind of keep a lid on you and force you to take small stuff, check down stuff?
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job of mixing it up. I thought we were seeing it well and getting the ball out. Sometimes it's just how it goes.
Josh, I think you were down 3 offensive linemen by the end of the game. Guys were in and out really throughout, heat-related or injury-related. Just how tough was that to get any kind of continuity where there were so many moving parts?
No, I thought our guys did a good job. They stepped up, like I said. I couldn't tell you who went out or who went down when guys went in. The communication was pretty good. I thought they did a good job up there. And, again, that's going to happen in this game. Guys are going to go down. It's a physical game that we play, and it's that's how it goes sometimes, and we got to be prepared for that.
What happened on that play where you were flagged? What happened at the bottom of the pile there?
Just some football stuff.
Did you think James caught that ball in the end zone? It looked like he had it with both feet down. Was there never a doubt that he did drop it? Who were your viewers?
Yeah, I kind of got lost. I lost him behind. I don't know. I didn't really see a replay of that either. I trust Gabe in those situations, and those are ones that we come down with 9 out of 10 times, and that was the 10th time, I guess. But I got no loss in faith in him and what he's able to do and his capabilities for this team.
Josh, in a game where so many things happened, when there were so many injuries, you're a leader on this team. What is your message to the rest of your teammates, kind of as you shift your focus forward?
Yeah, again, next man up. This is one game. We'll learn from this one tomorrow. Take it on the chin and again, prepare for next week. That's all we can do. We can move forward, and again, we're 2-1. Like to be 3-0, but 2-1. We can still accomplish everything we want to accomplish.
Josh, it's always hot there, obviously.
Yeah, it was warm. Breathing was tough at sometimes. We had some really, really long drives. We had a 20-play drive that ended in a field goal, and we got to find a way to put it in the end zone, cap that one off. But I think our guys did a good job of sticking with some of the tempo stuff that we were doing. Cramps are going to happen in this heat. You can do your best to prepare for it all week, drink as much water and Gatorade and this and that. But it's different when you're in game time and your adrenaline starts going. And, like you said, it gets pretty hot on the field, and there's no way to really simulate that. So we got to do the best we can to stay on the field.
Josh, is there anything else you need to testing for your hand, or just to clarify it?
No, we're good. Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, that is Josh Allen on what he had to say after the game. Talked about the long plays, the long drives that they were in. I mean, Steve, some of those drives were a 20-play drive, longer than 10 plays. Most of them seemed like they were going that way. They capitalized on some of those long plays, but couldn't capitalize on all of them. The time of possession in this game, you pointed out earlier, the Bills had the ball for 40 minutes on offense. The Dolphins, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. The Bills had 90 plays on offense. The Dolphins, just 39 plays. Tua had 13 completions. Josh had 42 completions. The Bills were on offense for so long, and you would think it would reflect that possibly in the final score with the way they were able to hold the ball for so long, but it just didn't look like that.
The one side of the ball, if you're Miami's offense and defense and Buffalo's offense and defense, you got to tip your hat to the Dolphins' defense for keeping the Bills off the board as much as they did. The Bills had, like you said, 90 chances to score touchdowns in this game. They went on the 98-yard drive before, scoring. It was an amazing, and that's really one of the things that really played into the Dolphins' favor was the fact the Bills' offense was just exhausted itself. Going down the field, staying on the field so much that at the end of the game they couldn't finish it off. And the Dolphins' defense hung tough enough and got enough help from their offense to hang in there and score enough points to win. And 21-19 game. This game is a lot like Super Bowl 25, where it was 19-20, and one team had the ball for 40 minutes, team had it for 19 minutes. That's the way it goes. That one side of the ball for the Dolphins gave them a chance to keep the Bills from running it up. And even despite that, the Bills had some chances with defensive touchdowns and the safeties and that kind of thing to really put the game away, and just couldn't do it.
And you really want to take advantage of the time of possession. You want to hold the ball longer than the other team. Usually that means you're going to win the game if things are going right on offense. These long drives that they were in, that's good. You want to grind it out and be on the field, but you want those drives to end in touchdowns, and unfortunately, all of them couldn't. We're going to get into our player spotlight. Our Microsoft Surface player spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and today we are giving it to Isaiah McKenzie. He had a really nice game. 7 catches for 76 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Steve, take us through what he did.
Yeah, on a 2nd and 19 play, just inside Dolphins territory, he catches this long pass down the sidelines, keeps them on the field in a 2nd and very long, perfect throw by Josh Allen. He runs the over route from the slot, from the right side all the way to the left sideline, down the field and catches it. And then, of course, the drive finishes off. That puts the Bills up 14-7 as he comes out of the slot once again from the right side of the formation. Comes hard across the field. Josh hits him and he walks into the end zone. Well-executed play there. Isaiah McKenzie really the driving force on that early drive or midway through the 2nd quarter in the game. And it seems like it was early because the game took forever in the 2nd half, and the Bills had 90 plays. So, yeah, Isaiah McKenzie came through with a couple of key plays, key catches this game, particularly on that drive for the touchdown.
Devin Singletary was also incredible for the Buffalo Bills. He played a big role in the receiving game. He led with receiving yards, 9 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown for himself. Only had 13 rushing yards. Of course, Josh Allen is again the leading rusher for this team. They needed that out of him because to get some of those first downs, he had to carry the ball. the Dolphins pass rush was getting to the Bills offense, getting to the Bills offensive line. It was tough for Josh Allen in the pocket there today.
And we're going to have a little bit of locker room sound here, right? Am I right?
Yes, let's go to Isaiah McKenzie.
Find any way to finish that off.
You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to fight through. You know what I'm saying? Be resilient. You know, we had guys cramping. Even myself, we had guys cramping, guys tired. You know what I'm saying? We had four guys out there. We were just trying to do the best we can to get a job downfield and try to put some points on the board. But it was exhausting, but, you know, we fought. We didn't come out with a win, but we're going to learn from it.
Talk about the last play. You know, what were you trying to do there?
It was 22 seconds. I was trying to get out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Also trying to get, you know, it was I knew T-Bass's range, so I was trying to get out of bounds, also get upfield, and try to still get out of bounds. It was 9 seconds left. I was trying to get to the hash, and I kind of got bumped and threw the ball to the ref, and it just went down from there. But, you know, if I could take it back, you know, I'll probably just go upfield, saying get down, put it on the hash myself, and then, you know, live to find another down.
Can you guys take any positives? I mean, all the guys that went down, all the people that are out of this team, all the people that are missing. You know, and you go on the road, short week. This team is coming off a big win, and you lose by the smallest of margins.
Yeah, we're gonna learn from it. You know what I'm saying? We're a resilient team. We're gonna overcome, persevere. We're gonna do what we need to do. We know we didn't play our best football, but we're gonna put our best foot forward, watch this film, and get better for next week.
Some people may say you're a South Florida guy.
Yeah.
You could preparing for the heat or anything. I mean, where does this rank in terms of the temps and stuff like in playing conditions?
I did 2 IVs during the week. I drank a lot of water, drank a lot of Gatorade, took right stuff. I did a lot of things during the week. You know, we all did a lot of things during the week just to be hydrated. And I said in the halftime, I'm like, I stay hydrated and I'm still cramping up. You know, so it was just like I came back in, got an IV, and, you know, it still wasn't enough, but I just fought through it. But it was hot. And me being from South Florida, I thought I was used to it myself. But I guess, you know, I'm more familiar with Buffalo than Miami right now at this point. So, you know, I'm fine with that. And, you know what I'm saying, like I said, we're going to put our best foot forward. And, you know, for another hot day, we're going to come out, you know, and be resilient the same way.
The heat exhaustion in this one is tough to understand from somebody who really hasn't played in the game of football or played, you know, an entire 4-quarter game on a field that was reported to be 120 degrees during the game. You've played in hot games. What does that do? How tough is it to go forward and through with the game, especially when you're thinking about the offensive linemen who are on and off the field? You have smaller, skinnier guys in Gabe Davis and Jake Kumaro and Isaiah McKenzie coming off the field. Really, Isaiah McKenzie and Jake Kumaro getting IVs during the game. Isaiah McKenzie says they did everything they could to hydrate throughout the week. And this is not a thing where Sean McDermott, the night before the game, is saying, okay, everybody, let's hydrate. This is something that is said throughout the week. You're going to play in a hot environment. You guys need to be on the hydration starting on Monday.
Right, and it is. They get on top of it very early in the week. Even before that, and start getting these guys hydrated. One of the things about it is you feel getting off the plane, being down there, it feels fantastic. The guys want to play. It's warm, it's sunny, let's go play. The problem is that as it starts to take over, you feel great, you think you're doing great, but then your feet start getting heavy and you can't do as much. You get tired quicker during series. Every couple of plays now, you feel a little bit worse than you would otherwise. And because of that, you start to play worse and you start to run slower. And when you recover between series, you come out and it takes you half as long to get just as tired. And it keeps incrementally getting worse and worse as the game goes on. Where, you know, late in the game, your body gives out and you start cramping up and that kind of thing. So it's a real thing, no question about it. Even though it feels great to play in the warm weather, it's hard to do that when you're going 110% for a couple of hours in scorching sun.
Yeah, we saw Stefon Diggs come out twice with cramps in that game, a big factor of why the Buffalo Bills maybe couldn't get it going as much on that final drive when they had an opportunity. Let's go to head coach Sean McDermott is taking questions right now.
Coach, how much did the heat start affecting your team in this game?
Yeah, just a little bit here and there, a couple guys here and there.
So you may not obviously push to see it like a game. I'm not sure I've ever seen a team decimated quite like the first team was. Now 4, but they lost it was like 13 guys. And it was all said and done. Have you ever been a part of something like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought our training staff did a great job. Sal, guys are going down. Some of it heat related, some of it other, injury related there, and just real proud of the guys. I know we didn't get the result that we all came down here for. I think we learned something about our team today, that's for sure, and proud of the guys and the way they battled, the effort they gave us.
That is the takeaway, right? I mean, the fact that you nearly won the game with all the obstacles.
Yeah, again, I don't want to. There's, I respect what you're saying, and we came down here to win the game. We didn't get that done. I didn't get it done, but I'm proud of the way the guys battled, the effort they gave. We used about everybody we could on the sideline right there, and hopefully we can get some of those guys back and healthy.
How do you see that play out on the offensive line in particular, maybe center as an example of just being down to the third string guy?
Yeah, I mean, appreciate the way Van went in there and battled, and he went till the very end. I mean, he was hurting, and you saw it all game. It wasn't just at the end when he finally went down, but I thought he really battled, and then Greg came in and did the same, and it came down to the margins there, and we didn't do enough at the end of the day, and we didn't capitalize on some opportunities that we had for points, and so give credit to them. They won the game.
Is there something you can attribute to the offense when some of those guys stalling out, or just results can't be overlooked?
No, I just think execution overall. We had the situation before half there. We were trying to kill the clock and take it down to about 4 seconds there, which is what we normally do to kick the field goal and get points at the end of the half there. And we didn't execute, and then we got the ball down inside the 1 yard line again and didn't execute there. So just things we can learn. We can learn and grow from.
How close was Jordan
Yeah, I'd rather not get into that. He didn't play. I'm real proud of the guys that went out there and did, and I thought Jordan was a great influence on the sideline for us with his energy, the thing he could control today.
Coach, what do you think the performance comes up short, but what do you think the performance and under the circumstances shows that?
Yeah, I told him, today in the locker room after the game, I said, I didn't even bring them up because they couldn't move, and that was a heck of an effort. Never want to come up short. There's no ribbons for second place, and they know it. So, we go back, we learn from this, and I think we did. I think we'll learn things that we're really good about today. One of those is the guts and heart and the intangibles of our football team, and I think we'll learn some things that weren't very good today, which led to the result that we got. I mean, when you look at the difference in the game, I think we had 400 some odd yards, almost 500 yards to their 212 or 21, roughly, and you should win those games. We just didn't take care of the ball enough, and come away with some takeaways. So, but again, I like the way we fought in all three phases till the end, and we've got to learn from it.
Comment on the effort of your backs, especially early on in the game, Singletary in particular, kind of allowing you guys to move the sticks, when the receivers weren't getting much in terms of separation downfield and opportunities like that.
Yeah, I thought Josh did a good job going to his check down early, and I mean that frustrates defensive play callers when you do that. Second and 2. That's a hard call for a defensive coordinator, and I thought Josh and the backs did a good job of getting on the same page early. They were doing some things blitz-wise, and which we expected, and some dropout as well. So I thought we handled that at times fairly well, but other times, again, we can grow from it.
On the field goal that ended up being blocked to go for, I think it was 4th and 4 or something like that, to go for the kick there instead of going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I just felt like it was the right situation to go for points right there, and got a lot of trust and faith in Tyler and our field goal unit.
For you, when they have the safety, and you got a minute and a half, I think, whatever, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that we were about to see some kind of a miracle, and that was going to be an unbelievable rally? Were you thinking that?
No, we were just in the moment. As a competitor, you're just in the moment. Like the players are, as coaches, we're the same. We're just in the moment, trying to execute, trying to get our team in a position to execute, and which I thought we were. Except, we had that sack at the end. We were, I think, around the 40-plus yard line, just over the 40-yard line there, maybe. If my memory serves me correctly, and we got that sack. But we were right where we needed to be with another play or two in there, and we practice that all the time, and a lot of faith and confidence in T-Bass to come out there and kick the game winner. They made a play, and so we move on. We learn from it. The penalty, yeah. I mean, it turned out to be a big play in the game there.
Was there a reason why you think you didn't run at the goal line on the fourth at that? Because on the first play, the offensive line pushed the runner almost to the goal line.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about a lot of things in there. We're inside the 1, so just don't want to give away strategy right now, respectfully, George. But we'll look back at that, and that'll be an opportunity that was missed for sure.
What was Micah like on the sidelines? I noticed that Jordan was in. What was he like?
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was great. Great influence, great energy on the sideline. Jordan and Micah both, their leadership for those young guys that were out there playing.
Any update on Christian Benford? You obviously saw on special teams he was still out there, but not on defense.
No update for you. Yeah, I'll know more tomorrow on most of these guys for you.
I'm sorry, just back in there. Is everything okay with Josh?
Yes. Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Is that a situation where today, I mean, you look at how competitive so many guys that were put into positions and called in, but you combine the injury list at the start of the game, the heat, the factor, I mean, does that all just prove too difficult to overcome with that number of guys?
No, never. That's not too difficult. Got a lot of confidence in the guys in this room. A lot of confidence. It's never too difficult, man. Never too good. We've got a lot of confidence in these guys. Thanks.
All right, that was Sean McDermott. And I know it's really frustrating and upsetting when you get into the stats and see how lopsided it was from the Bills compared to the Dolphins with what both teams were able to do on offense statistically. I mean, the Bills rack up almost 500 yards of offense to the Dolphins 212 yards of offense. But I want to look at just who the Bills had to go with today. The amount of players that were out heading into this game, the amount of players who had to come in during this game. I mean, the secondary were mostly sixth-round picks starting,
Right. Yeah.
very young kids. What can you say just about the effort and what this defense was able to do without so many players? I mean, they limit Tyreek Hill to 2 catches for 33 receiving yards.
Yeah, they were great. They came in without both starting safeties, without both starting cornerbacks. Their starting defensive tackles were both out of the game. They were out their starting center. Mitch Morse was out of the game. And then they came into the game and lost their backup center. They lost their right guard. They lost their right tackle. Their third corner is now out.
Yep.
And then they lost Kumaro, their fifth wide receiver, as well, in a game where you would have loved to have him rotating through to help those guys not cramp up. So all of those guys end up being out of this game at one point or another. You're still in a 2-point game with a chance to win it with a drive at the end of the game. Yeah, it was all hands on deck. They used the entire roster all day. They kept running guys on and off the field, rotating as best they could. They just ran out of legs. And you know, the way that stadium is set up, and it's no coincidence, you put the visiting team on the sunny side of the field. And let me tell you something, it's smoking hot over there. And you can hydrate and all that, but you just sweat standing there, let alone coming off the field after running through an NFL game. So, yeah, it was a long, hard game that the Bills have got to be looking at themselves going, man, we just needed like one play. And the Dolphins, I mean, I said it at the beginning, their defense, the only thing their defense did really well was the red zone defense. They wouldn't let the Bills punch it in. Other than that, they could not get the Bills off the field offensively.
Yeah.
It could not get them off the field. Tyler Bass hooks a kick left. Otherwise, you know, it's a different game at the end of the game. Although that sets up a different end of game schedule too. You would have had to get the Dolphins off the field again anyway. But all that said, there's 100 ways you can slice this game where the Bills come out on top. But this is the one that came out in the wash. And the injuries absolutely, and the problems they had finishing the game with enough bodies to actually play football is what did it. They just ran out of energy and time.
I think one good thing, though, is they have the depth. They were within a couple plays of winning or having the opportunity to win this game. They have the depth to be able to win games against really good teams. The Dolphins are a really good team. They're undefeated right now. They lead the AFC East. Yes, a couple plays didn't go the Buffalo Bills' way, but their depth showed up, and that's what you need in an 18-week season.
As is the case at the end of last season, the Bills' problems start with them. They couldn't have enough. They had some injuries, no problem, no question, but they had some guys falling down out of heat exhaustion. I don't think Spencer Brown made it out of the first half. I mean, that's unbelievable. You lose your right tackle. You can't handle the heat. You got guys rotating in. Then you don't have enough guys to rotate in because the guys are falling out. And you get a sack strip fumble that gives them their touchdown of the day.
Yeah, that was
tough. That was tough. And then you drop a pick six going the other way. I mean, an absolute stone cold pick six. When you look at it, the Bills are their own worst enemy right now, even in a game like this.
That's
the Bills
been the
are
case for close games. It's them shooting themselves in the foot, and they own that, and they know that.
That is a problem. It was a problem that plagued them last year, and it's a problem that's still with them.
They need to flip it around this season. That is for sure. In close games that they lose, maybe flip it to winning some of those really close games, because that was tough for them last season. Like you said, we're going to go to one more player before we wrap things up here. Dawson Knox answering some questions after the game.
Yeah, I think this game was very encouraging from the standpoint of, this team's got no quit in us. It's a next man up mentality. I mean, there were guys like we just talked about, jumping on the offensive line, playing positions they never played. Some guys were getting their first start on our defense, and it just shows that we got guys that are ready to go, and they're going to jump up and, play to the best of their abilities and give us their best effort. So I think it was encouraging from that standpoint.
What do you do now? How do you just go and make sure that you're ready to go for the next game, put this one behind you? And as far as conditioning and making sure you get all the right treatment and all that.
Yeah, definitely some extra treatment this week. Again, it's just moving on to the next. It's going to be the 24-hour rule, getting the corrections from this one, figuring out what we can do better, and then moving on to the next, and making sure we're hydrated, ready to go, fully healthy for the next one.
From your standpoint, what was that like to go through that and then go off the field, have to go in, come back out, and just kind of knowing that, it was a tough fight for 4 quarters to stay on the field?
Yeah, no question. It was really frustrating to have to go in and do that, but I knew that was my best option to be able to get back on the field. Just feeling those cramps come up, you can't do much about it. I was chugging pickle juice, doing as much as I could on the sideline, but sometimes the best option is to come in and get another IV. So, I hated that I had to do that and miss a few plays, but it was what got me back on the field.
I'm not sure if you talked about it, but the close game thing. Last year that was an issue. You've won so many games by double digits. Here's another close one. When you look at this, is it a play? Is it multiple things? Is it during the whole game?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can look at it and narrow it down to one play, or you can look at the game as a whole. But it's just something we're going to have to look at on the film, get our corrections, and do our best to, bounce back and come back for the next one. But I don't think it's any one specific play that you can look at. But again, I think this team it was very encouraging the way we fought, especially with being limited with some depth in certain positions. But I think we're going to be ready to go for the next one.
Is that, you guys don't make excuses when you're in here, but you look at the combination of the injury report at the start of the game, then who kind of goes down, you have to leave yourself during the course of it, the offensive line, all of that. Does that kind of mount into a set of circumstances that just proves too difficult to overcome?
We don't ever think anything's too difficult to overcome. I think it was just impressive as a team the way we fought back. I think there are things that we beat ourselves at today. It was no specific thing that they did, but there were a few things that, we can get corrected. But also, it's super encouraging as a teammate to see guys that are coming off the bench, playing positions they've never played, giving us their best effort. And, some of those guys are back there getting IVs now because they busted their tail all game doing something they've never done before. So a lot of good things came from today. It's early in the season. We're going to get the corrections and get back to work.
How do you keep that perspective? Understanding it is early in the season, but it is such a difficult loss. Like, what do you tell the younger guys? What do you tell your teammates?
Yeah, it's a long season. It's week 3, there's so much football left ahead of us. I think this can be a great focal point for us moving forward too. Just to see the fight that we have in us. We're missing guys all over the place, but we don't want to use that as an excuse. So I think there's going to be guys battling to get back from injuries, and then everyone's going to be getting their corrections on film this week. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a 24-hour rule. We stick with this loss for 24 hours, get the corrections, move on.
Does the impact of the heat and the possible cramps on it, does it come up quick, or is it almost, I have to say, like in your head a lot during a game because you see all the other guys going out and you start to feel it, but you're out there playing, feeling it before you have to leave the game?
I don't think it's ever on your mind until it happens. The first time I realized it was happening was when I was cramping. So, it's just one of those oh crap things. Try to stay on top of it this whole week with hydration. Looking back at it, I don't know if there's anything I could have done differently. I can always say I could have done 3 IV bags before the game, but I probably would have felt 300 pounds out there. So I don't think it's one specific thing.
Did you have to get an IV during the game?
All right, that is Dawson Knox after the game, and the Buffalo Bills will finally be on a normal week. They were on a short week heading into this game. It was their first Sunday 1 o'clock game, and next week they'll be facing the Baltimore Ravens, a 1 o'clock kick in Baltimore, so 2 straight away games for the team. And the Baltimore Ravens beat the New England Patriots today. Lamar Jackson threw for 4 touchdowns, rushed in for 1 as well. So key thing this week is get healthy and get ready for Lamar Jackson, because they got to be healthy enough to be able to stop a quarterback who can run all over you and throw all over you if he wants to. So we'll see if the Bills can get healthy. That's going to be very important. I think it's nice that they finally have a regular week to be able to prepare for a game.
This week may never break out of the walkthrough phase for them either.
Yeah.
They're going to be
Played safe.
They may have practice in lawn chairs for a minute, because they're going to need some rest after this. The heat absolutely sapped the energy out of them. Fatigue, and Vince Lombardi said it 60 years ago, fatigue makes cowards of us all, and that's what happens. You know, you can't play your best when you're too tired to even think straight. So, and I'll say this too, there's a couple of things that happened in this game. Particularly, Miami's defense was really good in the red zone. They wouldn't let the Bills punch it in on a couple of times when they were down there. That was the difference in the game. And I'll say this, too. You got to tip your hat to Tua Tagovailoa. He got knocked silly early in that game. It looked bad. It was like, wow, that's bad. He got, when Matt Milano pushed him, or actually got a penalty on the play for pushing him, and then Tua, he lost his feet, fell backwards and banged his head, and was absolutely woozy, couldn't stand up. Went into the locker room before halftime and then actually came out and finished the game. And kudos to him for being a guy that, is resilient enough to come back from that. It's not easy to do. So a couple of things the Dolphins did really well. Tua bouncing back from an injury that looked a little bit scary. And the Dolphins' defense and their red zone defense really saving the day for them.
The Bills were 2 of 4 in the red zone, and the Dolphins were 3 of 3 in the red zone. That's always a big difference maker in any football game. That's going to do it for us here. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. Make sure you guys stick around for later if you want. MSG at 11:30. There's going to be a longer version of this show. More highlights, more players, a little bit more breakdown as well, so you can catch us there. And if not, we'll see you next week. Have a good one, everybody.